Welcome back to the Most Hated Podcast. Always remember, it's your mom's favorite podcast. It's definitely your dad's favorite podcast. And truth be told, it's probably his side chick's favorite podcast. But once again, we're not going to go there.
His side chick, not mine.
Right, because he's a married man. I'm not. Ladies, I'm single and ready to mingle.
Keno's Davis.
Not Christian mingle, though, but definitely some mingling.
That's Keno's Davis. I'm Paul Honeywood. Let's get that straight.
Most Hated Podcast, episode 2. We back. Guys, a lot going on in the world right now. Last episode we left off as we were going into the topic of Ahmaud Arbery and the situation surrounding his death, ultimately. But today we're just going to focus on all the different social injustices going on presently in our country. I guess I'll start off, within the last day or so, or last 2 to 3 days, we've seen several different events unfold. We've seen Central Park Karen. We've seen also the killing of George Floyd in Minnesota. 2 very different cases. But one common theme amongst them all, which is a black person being at the crux of these situations. One man ultimately losing his life, the other man in an event that could have turned tragic over something as minute as putting your dog on a leash. So I want to go over that Central Park incident first, because it's the most hilarious. It's really not funny, but it is. And the reason why I say it's funny is because I don't know if this is the first time where a black man pulled a white person on a white person. And what I mean by that is typically it's white people, always trying to tell us, hey, don't you see that sign? Hey, don't you know you can't do that? Hey, don't you know you can't wear that in here? And pointing at the sign, and this time it was a black man pointing to the sign to tell Karen that her time was up and she needed to get her goddamn dog on the leash. God damn it! Do it, Karen. It's on the sign. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that number one, her initial reaction, which was to call the police. It's just unacceptable. It's really getting to a point where I can't make heads or tails of these situations anymore. You would think that with everything going on in the media, all the different killings, all the different racial profiling incidents, that people would be more cautious about putting themselves in these different scenarios. White people in particular. You would think that they would be cautious about how they entertain different situations. It shouldn't have to come down to you calling the police, saying that an African American man is threatening you and your dog, and then ultimately later on coming out to apologize. It shouldn't even have to get to that point. Why is that the first thing on your mind? Why is that your first reaction? Why was the McMichaels family first reaction to jump in their trucks with loaded guns and to pursue a subject as if they were law enforcement? It's starting to be very unsettling, and I'm not going to say beginning to be unsettling. It's always been unsettling to deal with these different things as a black person in this country, and I've always spoke upon this, me individually as a person, always saying that I can't wait to move out this country. I cannot wait to leave this place. And, I understand that our people have a history here. Some things are good. We've had good experiences here, but truth be told, this might not be the place for us. I think it's sad that we have to think about those things, and I'm not telling anybody to run like you're in fear of somebody, or leave up what you've established here. All I'm saying is that these people are violent. These people are liars. And these people are endangering your lives, your children's lives, and it's getting to a point where nobody should have to deal with those types of things on a daily basis, as we've seen. So, Paul, I mean, what are you thinking about this now?
Well, looking at the video, I'm glad no one got hurt, but at the same time, it's just thinking about Karen. What's her real name? I don't.
I believe her name is Amy Cooper.
Amy Cooper. Just thinking about how she called the police. Not only did she call, she changed up her whole tone of voice.
Right, absolutely.
Oh, there's an African American man. Please come down. Like her doing that. What was the point of that?
Well, it's to get a point across to them.
And just to think, like, say for instance, no one got hurt. I'm happy no one got hurt, but just think if someone else were there, a random jogger or, just another black guy walks by and the police harasses him thinking that Amy's talking about this guy. And like I said, it was more people were worried about the dog being choked as she was frantically calling than they were, what's the guy's name too? Christian Cooper. No relation, by the way. And it's just sad, like even today, that dog's life was more important than Christian's life. And of course she got fired. She apologized. I mean, I don't accept her apology because who knows how many times people have done this and didn't get caught doing it. Just living in today's world is just real sad. Like I've seen plenty of people online saying, that's what y'all do in America. Like, I would never want to come to America.
Exactly. I've seen that too, Paul. And like I said, man, it's a sad state of events. Moving on to George Floyd in Minnesota. And I'll speak to this point. Police officers' jobs are very difficult. We understand that. But like Chris Rock said, there's certain fields that can't have bad apples. I think he made a point about, different airlines. You can't have a bad apple as a pilot. Like, oh guys, today your pilot is Brad Milledgeville, and don't worry guys, he's only had one wreck in his, one plane crash in his life. You'll be okay. And it doesn't work that way. You have to have a spotless record, but you can't compare being a pilot to a police officer. Understandably so. Two completely different types of work, very treacherous work that police officers do, and they have to be commended for the good things that they do. So let's not forget that part. But the truth of the matter is that there is a culture of heroism, apparently, not just with police officers, but I'm starting to believe it's with white culture in general. They believe that they are the heroes of the story. If you watch any of the movies that come out of Hollywood, as long as you can remember, they're always playing the hero. There is no other role for them. They believe that they are there to save the day. Amy Cooper, aka Karen, she wasn't trying to save the day, but once again, she becomes the hero if the police show up and cause harm to that black man. She becomes the hero in the sense of reporting this lunatic in the park who is harassing her. She and the police team up together to become the hero against the villain, which oftentimes is somebody that looks like me. And that's very unfortunate because, I know a wide spectrum of people, different cultures of people. Not everybody that I know that's black is dumb. Not everybody that I know that's black is intellectual. And the same thing goes for any other culture of people that I know, white, Hispanic, Asian, or what have you. The point of the matter is that you have intellectual people of all races. You have evil people of all races, and that's just what the facts are. In this particular incident in Central Park, we saw who the villain was. The villain was Karen. The villain was the person who could not simply put her dog on the leash like the signs were posted. Christian Cooper, the black gentleman, me personally, I wouldn't have said anything to anybody about having your dog off the leash or not, as long as your dog wasn't attacking me. So in that regard, you have people who are more serious about these things than others, and that's understandable. He's a bird watcher. He frequents this area. and he's just trying to adhere to the protocols that have been in place to protect that park. And let's not get it twisted. We've seen it numerous times where a white person is trying to tell somebody what a sign says and what you can't wear and what you can't do in this location. So hopefully we don't miss that point. The point is that he pulled a Karen on Karen, essentially, and Karen lost. She could have won if the police had showed up and believed her claims of being harassed while she hyperventilates on the phone. But luckily, everything was recorded. It hit social media, very quickly, and as a result, Karen lost her job and lost her dog. And rightfully so, because she was choking the life force out that dog for no reason, really. I mean, I think she said that the guy had gave the dog a snack and she didn't know what was in the snack, and it's like, okay, lady, like, who's got time for conspiracy theories over a dog off a leash and a doggy snack? Like, it's not that serious. But that's the whole
thing. Like, she was in the wrong. She was in the wrong,
right.
And she called the police all because she didn't want to adhere to the rules. And she knew she would get away with it. Like, especially she kept going even after he was recording it.
Right.
Which is dumb on her part, but that's that privilege. I keep telling you, that privilege is strong.
No, the privilege is strong, and it rears its ugly head more than anybody would like. And that's just what America is. I think, we have to get to a point as a minority, as people of color, black people, what have you, we have to stop questioning why they're doing these things to us. We already know. We've seen it throughout time, throughout history. It's a long legacy of racism. It's a long legacy of us being the villain, the criminal, the thug, whatever, however you want to describe it. And are there thugs out there? Are there criminals out there? Of course, but there's criminals of any background, any ethnicity, any color or creed. I mean, these people, a criminal is a criminal, a thug is a thug. I mean, it just is what it is. But I think that the media has done a very good job of making sure to paint black people as the boogeyman, essentially. I mean, we are the boogeyman. We are walking down the sidewalk, they cross over. Maybe that doesn't happen in today's age, but it definitely took place at some time. You walk past a lady, she might clutch her purse. You get on the elevator with a white person by yourself, and you can just cut the tension with a knife as it now becomes the longest elevator ride for that person in their whole life as they sit on there with this black person that they think might rob them or assault them or what have you. And it's just a sad, like I said, a sad state of affairs.
It's come to a point where, like, when I'm out in public, there's times where, like, I wear, like, headphones, or I do things to let them know, hey, I'm not worried about you, bro. Like, I'm not looking at you. I'm not acknowledging you. I'm just minding my business. Like, even, it's sad I have to even go to, like, the other side of a street just so someone will feel comfortable.
Right, and by no mistake, let's get this one point across, and I want to say this as a black man. Black people, man, we got to get it together. We have to start being about our business as a collective. One thing that I know for sure is that when other incidents happen to other groups, I know there was a story out of New York, during the pandemic, where I believe a group of Jewish citizens opened up, I believe, like their school so they can send their kids in. And somebody called the cops on them. And so I think, I don't know if it was Cuomo, but somebody in the New York political space made a comment about them. And it wasn't really in a negative light. And immediately, that Jewish community had litigation against this person or against the city of New York about speaking on their name in a possible ill way. So that is showing you that you have to start taking real action as it relates to how people perceive you and how you ultimately are handling your business. You have to let people know that this will not stand anymore. We don't have to code switch if we don't feel like it. We can be ourselves. We don't have to cross the street to make somebody comfortable. We don't have to look the other way or make ourselves seem more gentle to make somebody comfortable. That's not our business. Our business is just to be who we are. to attempt to be successful, to attempt to be productive members of society. So outside of that job, you can kiss it. I mean, that's basically what it boils down to, is that we're not here to appease anybody. I think we've done enough appeasing. We've been appeasing for hundreds of years now, and you see where that's gotten us. It's gotten us absolutely nowhere. And so the point of the matter is that, once again, I'll harken back to it. We have to start handling our business. We have to let these people know that we will fight back. We will. It will be an eye for an eye. It has to be that way. It's like that with any other group. If you were to, if two black men in a pickup truck were to hunt down a white man and gun him down in cold blood, trust and believe there will be a lot of pushback.
They'd be dead right now.
I mean, they might mob the person's house,
Yeah.
If they're not getting justice, and drag them out and lynch them right there on a tree. You
never know. It's Brunswick.
They've done stuff like that, guys. I mean, it is what it is.
They're still doing it.
Absolutely. So as it relates to all these different injustices, and I guess we can speak about George Floyd in detail a little bit. There was a gentleman, I believe the story was, police were called over a possible forgery in process. I'm assuming Mr. Floyd was the person of interest in this call. Police, I'm not sure what happens from the time that the call is made to when the police show up. As the video shows, it starts from a police officer pinning him down with his knee on his neck, and you can hear Mr. Floyd, gasping for breath, telling the officers that he can't breathe. Can you please stand me up? But to no avail. I believe I saw the reports that, or I think in the video, the police officers made comments such as, we tried to, do it the easy way, but we've been forced to put him on the ground and subdue him in this way. So I can't speak to, was there any resistance? I can't speak to anything specifically. All I know is that, once again, it's another story of a black man, unarmed black man, dying at the hands of the police, and it's just becoming a situation where now my defenses are up. And if you're black, truth be told, your defenses should be up. Our defenses should have been up.
No, I was gonna say, it says a lot that it happened. Yesterday, Memorial Day, and they got fired today. So that even says a lot right there. No matter what was going on, and like you said, it's just real sad that we can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. Like, I don't know what he was doing. Did you say you didn't know what happened in the video?
Well, I didn't. I think when the video picked up, it was already showing that one particular police officer with his knee pushing up against his neck on, I would assume, concrete.
I did read that even when he was asking for help, like saying get up, like the other officers weren't even acknowledging him. Like they just had their back turned to him.
I mean, which is typical stuff from the police. You know how they are. I mean, if they view you as somebody who is resisting, somebody who is not complying. I mean, and obviously, that doesn't mean that just because you comply mean that you're going to live, because they've killed people who did comply.
Exactly.
But speaking to the specifics of this case, we don't know whether he resisted or he was complying, and they were just, being the vicious, agents of the law that they typically are, as it relates to somebody that they, deem to be a criminal or somebody that they're arresting.
But it's sad because, like you said before, not all cops, police, they're dirty, they're racist, whatever. Like, I have cousins that are officers, I have friends that are officers. Like, everyone's not dirty.
Right.
But for some reason, when things like this happens, it's always white cops and the victim is black. Like, it's always that. And it's just like they hide behind that badge. Instead of, using the KKK now, they're using it as a badge, to hide behind that. And it's just, we can't do anything, man. Like, Memorial Day weekend, people are out parading and things like that, and now you just lose another life, man.
Yeah, man. It's unfortunate. So, within a short span, we've lost George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery. We've had the Central Park Karen situation. The young lady Brianna, I believe out of Missouri, I believe St. Louis, maybe, where the police raided the wrong house. Just very unfortunate situations. But at the end of the day, I think the reason why we're always the victim is, number one, once again, we are the villain in their hero story. They are the superhero in their mind. They are here to fight and combat evil and restore justice for whatever that looks like in their fairy tale Karen mind. So somebody has to play the boogeyman, guys. Somebody has to be the scapegoat, and we are the goat.
They need to do something about this. They need to, sorry to interrupt, but they need to do something about this, like misinformation, calling in, saying that a crime's being committed and it's not. Like, she got fired,
right.
But she needs to be arrested as well.
No, that is a, I mean, if you file a false police report, I believe that is a crime.
It's just like if you remember with house phones, you used to call 911. They give you a warning the first time,
right?
But after that, like
they send them out.
Yeah,
right.
But I always say that with situations like this gives more people, hey, I can get away with this. That's why every time something happens, I'll just get away with it. Like, people get killed, they lied on them. I mean, as long as they're not recording it, who knows what I could do. But the audacity of this chick, the caucasity, or whatever how you can say it, of her, she was still going after he was recording. She was still doing it, like,
right.
And I was just like, just the brazen, whatever how you say it, of her just keep doing it and lying, just blatantly lying, and of course using the key word African American. I feel threatened by this African American. Is just, I guess that's supposed to get the police to move faster. I mean,
absolutely. In their hero story, they're gonna move at the blink of an eye. They're gonna put on their superhero cape and they're gonna come save Karen and whisk her off to I guess La La Land, where Karens can be safe in the park. So we already know what's going on, Paul.
I don't want to hear those mayonnaise tears, man. Just miss me with that.
Yeah, no, I feel you. They can save all that, but yeah, Karen, you need to go to jail, man. When you falsely accuse somebody and ultimately that person could have gone to jail for something that you said, you should instead go to jail for what they were accused of doing. So if you are accusing him of harassing you or assault or battery or what have you, you need to stand on those charges because this is serious stuff, man. Some people are really losing their lives over the smallest of incidents. I mean, this guy's a bird watcher trying to protect the park and their regulations, and was telling this lady that can you please put your dog on the leash? I mean, this is stuff that we see every day that don't require anything but she could have said, hey, I'm not going to put my dog on the leash. They could have disagreed. They could have agreed to disagree, or they could have got into a verbal spat, and then they could have went about their business because that happens every day. Or she could have agreed, put the dog on the leash, because clearly the dog isn't used to being on a leash, because the way she was I want to say holding the dog, but the way she was choking the dog showed that dog did not care to be held or constrained in any kind of way. So Karen clearly always has her dog off the leash.
Well, the dog is back in shelter now, so Karen lost that dog.
Yeah, hopefully, but another Karen might adopt the dog. So it could be going to another abusive household. But once again, man, just very, very sad state of events that we're dealing with in 2020. But truth be told, the only real pandemic that America has always suffered from, the only pandemic is the pandemic of racism. That's the one that's most virulent. That's the one that's the strongest. It has the ability to adapt. It has the ability to transcend eras, decades, centuries. And clearly it seems like a pandemic that quite truthfully will never go away. And that's just a sad state of affairs. I think that the world could easily be a better place if people would just act like they got some sense across the board. Just treating people with courtesy and respect and some form of dignity. I think that would truly carry the world a lot further than what we're doing right now. And there's a lot of great things going on in the world. Don't get me wrong, but there could be more if people would act accordingly. And that's all I got to say about it.
Well, I was going to bring up Sean King, but we'll probably have to get on that another one.
Go ahead.
Did you see about Sean King getting canceled?
By who?
Twitter.
Why? For what?
They said he's been hiding funds.
Hiding funds?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like GoFundMe funds?
Yeah, like, let me see. It's some things they canceling them on Twitter, man. I just have to look it up, but
okay,
it just happened.
Okay, I would have to look into it a little bit more. I know I see Sean King, post a lot of this, a lot of these different cases, and he definitely seems to help out with getting justice for the families and getting people, to move in a expedited fashion. When it comes to these different incidents. So I would have to hold off and reserve judgment. I'm not really in the business of canceling people. I think that's a very slippery slope. I think cancel culture
doesn't exist, man.
Well, no, I think we would like to think that it doesn't exist.
I'm saying they cancel it, but then probably I give them a year or so. They'll be back.
But see,
not R. Kelly, but
right. But I mean, okay, I believe in that. Cool. Cancel R. Kelly. I'm all down for that. You doing stuff, inappropriate things, underage people. Yeah, definitely cancel that type of person. Absolutely.
Right.
But some of the stuff that people get canceled for, I mean, and by cancel, it's almost synonymous with your virtual death, essentially.
Is it recording, Joe? Yeah, keep going.
I think they're referring to your virtual death. We're going to cancel you. We're not going to your Instagram page anymore. We're not posting your stuff anymore. And at the end of the day, who cares? Yeah. You sound stupid.
I was just trying to see if you heard about it.
No, I understand.
It just popped up, so I was just
we'll have to look into the background of it, check the details. Maybe we can talk about it at a future date. But I think that pretty much concludes what we had to talk about in our episode 2. So, Paul, do you have any closing remarks?
White people, just stop being racist. The world would be a better place if you just stopped being racist. I mean, not all black people are dirty, thuggish, will rob you. For the most part, we mind our damn business. Rest in peace to George Floyd. I'm getting tired of saying that about a lot of people, to be honest with you, because it's just something new every week.
I feel you.
All the Karens out there, stay at home. Obviously, you don't need to be outside.
Put your damn dog on the leash, Karen.
Cookout Karen, Central Park Karen, all these Karens, man, just stay at home. Put your dog on the leash. That's all I gotta say, man. I'm just tired of it, man, to be honest with you.
Well, guys, appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is episode 2 of the Most Hated Podcast. I'm Kenos Davis.
I'm Paul Honeywood. Heart Network out!
Little hoe.